Since the inception of the imperial examination system, the ultimate aspiration of scholars has been to achieve a spot on the list of successful candidates. From a modern perspective, achieving the top spot is tantamount to achieving national prominence. It is not only the ultimate testament to one's talent, but also a moment of honor for one's family. However, for the true top scholar, bringing honor to one's family is secondary. The resulting career prospects are more crucial. Although modern people often compare the Gaokao to the ancient imperial examinations, the two are in fact quite different. While comparable in scale to the Gaokao, the imperial examinations were more similar in nature to today's civil service recruitment, aiming to select talented individuals for governance, rather than simply selecting students. After the modern Gaokao, students' social status remains unchanged, but the imperial examinations marked a fundamental shift in their lives. For a long time before the Sui and Tang dynasties, the imperial court relied solely on a recommendation system that based on reputation to select officials. Despite its obvious drawbacks, this system persisted due to the inherent nature of a society based on personal relationships. This mechanism, known as selecting filial and honest officials, that was originally intended to select individuals that with both moral integrity and talent for local governance. However, virtue and talent are often difficult to achieve simultaneously. Many individuals with empty reputations find themselves helpless once in power, leading to widespread public resentment. Furthermore, virtue is an abstract concept that can be carefully disguised, allowing many opportunists to disguise themselves and gain official positions, only to reveal their true colors once they gain power. In the long years before the establishment of the imperial examination system, there was no scientific and effective mechanism for selecting officials, and the distribution of power often devolved into a game of interests among aristocratic families. This explains why society at the time placed such high value on family background. Being born into a powerful family was clearly more advantageous than studying hard. Over time, the shortcomings of this system became increasingly apparent. Truly talented people were few and far between in the court, while countless talented individuals that were hidden among the people. Emperor Wen of the Sui dynasty, Yang Jian, keenly recognized this problem after ending the division between the northern and southern dynasties. Faced with a court filled with mediocre aristocratic talent, he conceived the idea of reform to break the monopoly of the aristocratic families. However, this idea was met with fierce resistance from vested interests from the moment it was proposed. After all, it meant the aristocratic families would lose their absolute control over the officialdom. After the fall of the Sui dynasty, with the exception of the Yang imperial family, the major aristocratic families remained resilient. For these entrenched wealthy families, the change of dynasties was merely a change of masters. Faced with numerous obstacles, Yang Jian designed a prototype for the imperial examination system but failed to implement it. It wasn't until the accession of Emperor Yang of Sui that the system was put into practice. Unfortunately, the initial version was riddled with flaws, possessing only the form but not the spirit. After ascending the throne, Emperor Taizong of Tang, Li Shimin, similarly recognized the dangers of the aristocratic families. He ordered improvements to the Sui system, ultimately bringing this relatively scientific official selection system to the forefront of history. While people today often claim that the college entrance examination changes one's destiny, when it comes to social mobility, the imperial examination system is the ultimate path to success. Ideally, it would have been the best path for scholars from humble backgrounds to rise to prominence. But such ideals were rarely achieved, due to various human interventions. The fairness of the imperial examination system was far less than it appeared. In terms of fairness, the modern Gaokao is indeed superior. However, such a comparison is inherently biased, as the participants in the two examinations existed in completely different historical contexts. In ancient times, it was students who embarked on the path of the imperial examination, while in modern times, it is also students who face the challenge of the Gaokao. However, these two types of students differ greatly. Ancient students diligently studied to enter the government. Modern students, on the other hand, thirst for knowledge to explore the endless possibilities of the future. Success in the imperial examination brought immediate rewards, with the court granting them official positions and salaries, while achieving excellent results in the Gaokao today paves a path to a brighter future. This path is also fraught with uncertainties, and benefits cannot be guaranteed. For this reason, the imperial examination was far more challenging than the Gaokao, and achieving top marks in it was not simply a matter of hard work. To excel in the imperial examination, one must first cross the threshold. For the gifted, this might be easy, but for most, it might take a lifetime to achieve. The first hurdle facing ancient scholars was the tonsure exam. As the name suggests, it was an exam designed for children. However, few children could truly pass it, and many still failed in their 50s or 60s. The tonsure exam consisted of two stages, the county exam and the prefectural exam. Only after passing the final state exam could one truly enter the ranks, becoming known as a shiozai. After becoming a shiozai, students had to undergo a series of assessments to qualify for the provincial exam. To advance further, they had to excel in the provincial exam and pass the Jiren exam. The Jiren exam was far more challenging than the shiozai exam, and many students struggled to pass it throughout their entire lives. Fan Jin, for example, was so overjoyed at passing the Jiren exam that he even lost his composure. Fan Jin's father-in-law once said that those who passed the Jurong exam that were reincarnated Wenkuxing, that a star of literary deity. This illustrates the sheer difficulty of the Jurong exam. Despite this, some still managed to reach the top. The next step for these successful candidates that was to travel to Beijing for the imperial examination. Once the imperial court confirmed the examination date, an announcement was made throughout the country. Upon hearing the news, candidates from all over the country flocked to the capital, hence the name Huishur. Those who were accepted into the Huishur that would enter the imperial palace to take the palace examination, presided over by the emperor himself. Why did the ancients rush to take the imperial examination? Because being a scholar was truly enviable. In ancient times, only about 500 candidates were selected each year, and only one top scholar was chosen every 3 or 4 years. Modern academic qualifications are simply incomparable to those of ancient times. One is based on real money, the other on paper. How can the comparison be made?